Nagumo. Nagumo may seem to exist only to exude constant aura, but he's seriously no joke. Being the borderline replacement to Sakamoto as the face of the order when he left, something wasn't quite right one morning. Not only was the boss talkative, he was like an entirely new person. And well, what do you know? It was. This is Nagumo, aka the #1 aura farmer of Sakamoto Days. He is from a family of assassins and has the ability to copy other people's appearances perfectly and almost instantly. What's more is that him and Sakamoto go way back. They first met at the JCC when they were just 14 years old, growing close over the years to the point where Nagumo genuinely cares about Sakamoto, so much so that he doesn't want him to be endangered. You see, Nagumo was born into a family of assassins, with his primary ability being to copy other people's appearances perfectly and instantly. We're talking about a perfect copy here. He not only looks like them, but copies their mannerisms, voice, etc, etc. I mean, it's so broken that he can even transform others for an extended period of time, as he turned Sakamoto into Aoi for 24 hours so that he could infiltrate as a substitute teacher at the JCC. This makes Nagumo a perfect assassin. I mean, what's better than blending into your environment to take an easy kill? However, he has a different approach to assassinations than Sakamoto, saying that the key to killing is deception despite him hating it. Don't get it twisted though, Nagumo can still destroy you in a 1v1. I mean, his killing intent is so strong it's basically Conqueror's Haki and can render you unconscious. But of course, as I already mentioned, Nagumo and Sakamoto are extremely close and are practically best friends despite all the shit that's gone on and them being disconnected for years. After all, Nagumo was the one to tell Sakamoto about the bounty on his head at the start of the series to protect him and his family, hence why he dropped into the store to say hello. He wanted to let his big old buddy know that there was now a bounty on Sakamoto's head, a bounty of 1 billion yen. He was officially a target of the Japanese Association of Assassins. In fact, it was in that exact moment that Nagumo saved Sakamoto's life from a pizza assassin. Before he could snap the dude's neck though, he learned that the legendary Sakamoto and his family now operated on a strictly no-kill basis. But despite missing his friend and worrying for Sakamoto, Nagumo left him alone for now, warning him of the endless danger about to re-enter his life. The thing that will really blow your mind though is that Granny Mia explained that Nagumo is now stronger than Sakamoto due to his retirement, and their danger levels support this, as Sakamoto is B tier whilst Nagumo is S, partially due to the fact that, like Sakamoto, he is also a jack of all trades, shown by his weapon the multi-tool, which has 6 different functions. But the thing is, he mainly uses this because he finds killing too easy. In fact, he rolls a dice just to choose which weapon to use. But we saw just how broken he is when fighting Gaku, who Nagumo stated was the strongest opponent he'd ever fought. I mean, this guy was so powerful that he resembled a young Sakamoto and was one of X's right-hand men. Gaku actually seemed to outmatch Nagumo in raw power, but they were tied in terms of speed, whilst Nagumo is much better technically, as these advantages didn't seem to matter, especially in the clash when Nagumo uses an invisible blade to end the battle, using flashy moves to hide his real intent. And now, the end of the fight isn't actually shown, but we know that Nagumo got the dub, as he actually disguised himself as Gaku and faked his own death to land a crucial blow on Azuki, which would have killed him if not for his uniquely mirrored body. And so yeah, Nagumo is by far one of the strongest characters in the entire series, as both he and Sakamoto almost ended the story early. Sakamoto infiltrates the JCC Academy as a new teacher in the disguise of Aoi thanks to the powers of Nagumo. Meanwhile, Shin enrolls as a student to get some much needed good old shonen training in, which is exactly where he meets Amane Yotsumura, a student and devoted follower of X and his group. He is a vengeful teenager driven by an intense hatred for his father, Satoru Yotsumura, the former number 2 of the JAA and founding Order member. The Order was tasked to find and kill him, but this is where we learn just how powerful Yotsumura truly is. You see, the JAA dispatched not 1, not 2, but 3 Order members to kill him, and it comes as to no surprise why. Yotsumura is capable of taking on Shishiba and Nagumo simultaneously, simultaneously, and even managing to hold his own momentarily when Osaragi joined the fight. His mastery in combat is a reflection of his incredible physical strength, allowing him to casually parry Shishiba's powerful strikes from a distance, flip an SUV he was driving with a single swing of his weapon, kick a car hard enough to send it flying to the end of the carrier, and even slice through the walls of multiple traditional Japanese houses with his 3-section staff. And it's worth noting just how fast he can perform these actions too, as he is capable of reacting far faster than the average human. For instance, he bisected 5 armed assassins in an instant, even whilst they had him at gunpoint, and he wasn't even looking in their direction, which is also how he managed to instantly kill his wife. By moving so fast, she died without even seeing him move. He does all this with his weapon of choice, which is a 3-section staff equipped with a small razor-sharp blade on one end. One of his most impressive qualities, however, is actually his durability, as he survived a fall from a small building during his fight with Shishiba, and even faked his own death after being thrown into a lake with a bleeding shoulder wound caused by his hammer strike. That's where, despite these injuries, Nagumo found him, hoping to use Yotsumura's supposed death as a means to gather information from within the JAA, using his connections as the former number 2. If he didn't agree, Nagumo vowed to kill his son Amane. Thus, even in his own death, Yotsumura is still held captive, as once again his son's life is on the line, reminding us of the vicious cycle of the assassin world which Yotsumura helped build. The reality of the situation though is that Nagumo kept him alive in secret. As the former number 2 of the JAA, Nagumo wanted to use him and his connections to investigate the death of a friend of both his and Sakamoto's from their younger years named Rion Akao. It was thanks to him that they learned that Rion Akao was actually still alive, kinda. You see, X had adopted her entire persona down to a T as part of his split personality disorder, and used it to put the 1 billion yen bounty on Sakamoto so that he would come after her, as it was Rion who first said Sakamoto was worth that much. They learned this insane revelation during the assassin exhibition of the century, which X planned to use as the stage for a bombing to kill the chairman of the JAA. Once learning that Akao lived on inside of X and even asked Sakamoto to kill them to stop X, Nagumo and him ignored orders and escaped with them to discuss things. As a result, the JCC chairman made Sakamoto and Nagumo special Class A extermination targets wanted for conspiracy against the JAA. As a result, Nagumo lost his place in the order with nowhere to go. But of course, that is where Sakamoto, as always, comes in. Whilst, like Amane, he's not an employee, thus not a technical member of the family, there is no doubt that it is soon heading that way. You see, Nagumo was even camping out with them in secret and used his powers to help the family stay hidden from the Order, who were out searching for them. But all of this made Sakamoto begin to wonder if he even belonged here. Did he deserve his family? Especially after all the danger he had now put them through. Nagumo claimed that he only had 2 choices if he wanted to continue his familial life, and that was to either kill X and prove his innocence to the JAA, or destroy the JAA entirely. But that's when Sakamoto chose the secret hidden third option: take over the JAA and make it a global Sakamoto supermarket chain.
Is this serious?
That was the only way to not only ensure financial stability for his family, but also clear all of their names. And so he began training by facing the Order. Now, if you want to enjoy more peak fiction, then I recommend that you click this video on your screen right now.